You're entering the wind tunnel with Jackaroo.
It's time to go racing in 2021.
Eric Jones with help. Here comes Almirola. Crash into the wall.
Oh, you got it.
Off turn 4, 3 wide.
Not over yet. Checkered flag is in the air. Look at this. On the bottom.
McDowell in tow. Dillon on the bottom.
The run's on top. Oh, teammates.
Around they go.
We're playing at the end. Copy.
Here they come for the restart to see who wins the Indianapolis 500.
No spin, no bull, all Jack. Wind Tunnel is brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.
Here is your host, Jackaroo.
Things are getting pretty busy on the racing circuits, and we are very happy that in addition to following all that action, you've chosen to make this podcast part of your weekly racing fix. St. Petersburg, Talladega, an abundance of weekly racing venues were in action this past week, and our short track correspondent, Lenny Baticki, will stop by in our news and notes section to bring you all the short track highlights. We'll also review IndyCar stop in the St. Pete Grand Prix, as well as all that action in NASCAR at Talladega Superspeedway. Now, our guests this week include Renus Veekay, a second-year IndyCar driver who returns to Ed Carpenter Racing wiser and more prepared than he was in his rookie season. In our Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series Victory Lap, you'll meet a female driver from Alberta, Canada, who has established herself as a top contender in the Canadian world of short track racing. And in our NASCAR segment, you'll meet a guy that got his love for racing as a very young child at South Boston Speedway. And he has parlayed that into a leadership role as president and general manager of one of the Xfinity racing teams, Kaulig Racing, which, by the way, won the Talladega Xfinity race just this past weekend with Jeb Burton at the wheel. So tighten up those belts and settle in. The wind tunnel is cranking up and ready to go right after this commercial break.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
All right, now that we've brought you up to speed from last weekend's action, let's meet our first guest.
I'm Kyle Rickey from MRN Radio, the voice of NASCAR. They are the foundation of American motorsports, the launching pad for racing's future. Time now for the Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap. Brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, driving local racing and local communities forward.
Hey, taking a victory lap this week is a driver from the Canadian province of Alberta, and she is a 12-time track champion at the quarter-mile Edmonton Worldwide Racing. She's been racing there for the past 14 years, and get this, she's captured the Alberta NASCAR title 11 of those 14 years. Her name is Erica Thiering. Erica, it's a real pleasure to visit with you today.
Yes, hi. Thanks for having me on. It's really exciting.
You know, those are pretty impressive stats. What has been your secret?
Really good teaching. Let's just say that. And repetition. My dad raced at that track, obviously. And he's just a really good teacher. And that's what, if you're taught right, you kind of get out of all the, bad habits that some teachers get into. I mean, I still have some, I imagine. But it helps that way. Being taught right the first time, right?
What was the best teaching nugget from your dad?
Oh gosh, I don't know. There was so many. Probably to wait for your turn to say, and you're not always going to win.
Last season, you had a pretty impressive run. EWR, due to COVID-19, was limited to only 6 events. but you never finished out of the top 5. You won more than half of the events there. You didn't build a brand new car. You had a car that, well, let's say, had reached the elderly stage.
Yeah, last year was kind of a weird year. Like, I mean, we didn't start till August, just because of everything that was going on. And honestly, we didn't plan. I wasn't even like by the time like mid-July, I was like, I don't even think we're gonna get it done this year. So, we honestly didn't do anything to the car. I think maybe we did an oil change. Like it was nothing.
Kind of wondering, with that kind of level of strict COVID-19 pandemic rules, what about you and your pit crew in terms of preparing the car? What precautions do you have to take?
Well, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's like we're supposed to social distance, obviously, but
Kind of hard to work on a race car that
exactly.
way.
And I'm not gonna lie, I need someone to strap me in real tight. So that's just not happening. So, I mean, I think for the most part, if we keep like our little social bubble, the 4 people that I hang out with every weekend, they tell us not to, commingle into other people's pits, which is fine.
Mhm.
You just kind of adapt a little bit, right?
With your career and the length of time that you've been competing, it's fairly obvious that you possess an incredible passion for the sport of racing. Has it ever put you in conflict? And what I mean by that is, I love what I'm doing, but there's other things that I want to do.
That's a great question, because I can tell you that has happened a lot. So when I first started racing, I was 15 or 16, one of the two, I can't remember. But you know what, I missed grad. I didn't even think twice. I was like, I don't want to go to grad. Forget that. I got to race. But then there was other little things that I kind of missed. Like I think I missed a couple of weddings and stuff, but like whatever. I mean, now I'm getting a little bit older, so now it's kind of like I want to tone it down a little bit. I'm not so like aggressive into it. I definitely am still passionate about it, but I'm more thinking to other things like running. I don't want to like get so intense into it. If we win, we win. If we don't win, we don't win. It doesn't like wreck my whole week.
You're very fortunate because the passion for the sport and the desire to drive, despite the fact that you're a woman, was instilled by your dad. But we've seen female trailblazers to the point where they populate little racetracks all the way to the top disciplines. Has there been one female driver that has inspired you?
I wouldn't, you know what? Honestly, every girl that I have raced with inspires me in a different way, I think. Not to pick like a Danica Patrick. Of course, she's inspiring, or like Pippa Mann or someone, right? But like every single girl that I do race with, I find inspires me in a different way than kind of like that, right? Like when I first started, there wasn't a whole lot of girls. Now I think there was one point in one of our races that it was all 3 girls on podium.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my favorite race, actually. That was really exciting at the end.
Any humorous incidents over the course of your career?
Oh, I could think of a few. I think one of my favorite one was we were racing those stacker cars. Do you know which one those are? The car on top, top drives, and then the bottom guy does the gas. I was doing it with one of the guys I race with, and I was steering. And I screamed the whole way because I honestly thought we were going to tip over. I was terrified. And then so finally we got out of the car at the end of the race, and one of the other guys in the other car was like, "Were you screaming?" I was like, "No, must have been Dave. It wasn't me." That was a good one though.
Any more goals left in your racing career?
No, not really. I mean, if I could get into the Pinty series again, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we ever get a chance and the border opens, we'd go back down. I loved racing in Vegas.
And you did a pretty good job at New Smyrna the last few years.
Yeah, that was a tough track. Like the level of competition is just not something we see up here. So, but you know what? It was fun. It was fun. And the fact that we got to race in February, well, that was insane.
Hey, Erica, I've really appreciated it, enjoyed our little conversation and our visit. Before I let you go, and this is a very important question, especially coming from someone that's been born and raised in the United States. Can you explain what poutine is? Because I look at it and it just makes me shudder.
Oh, it's the best thing in the world. I had some this week, actually, because I had a serious craving. I even had it for breakfast.
Oh my God.
I know. Fries, you can't go wrong with gravy and cheese curds. And if you ever get the chance to just eat a cheese curd, do it. I think they come from there. They make them in Wisconsin too. Just cheese curds. They squeak. They're great. Oh.
Okay. I'll try them. Not real excited about it, but I have been very excited about visiting with you. Hey, good luck when Canada opens. Let's hope that you get a lot of races, and who knows, maybe number 13's on the horizon for you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.
Be sure to join us again next week for another trip to racing's grassroots with the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap. Brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series, advancing the next generation of drivers and champions. I'm Kyle Rickey from the Motor Racing Network.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Veekay around the outside in the carousel. Are you kidding? That's great. What a move. Veekay's going to thread the needle.
Oh, baby. Nice job, Renus.
He's going to start fourth in the Indianapolis 500. Look at Veekay. Look at Veekay. Oh, that was outstanding. Renus Veekay gets his first pole position.
Good job, boys.
Veekay brings him to green. Oh, Radius, here comes Veekay. What a move. That was set up perfect.
Good job, Renus. First podium. Thanks, guys. First of many.
We welcome into the wind tunnel Renus Veekay. Renus, thanks so much for agreeing to talk to us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Let's look back, because you're looking in your windscreen right smack dab in front of you, your nemesis, Texas Motor Speedway, for a double down this weekend. What did you learn from your experience there last year that maybe you are going in with a different approach now?
Well, finishing is quite important. I think especially in Texas, it's a wild race. It's tricky. You got to make sure you just stay in the game. We have tested there and it felt really good actually. And yeah, I'm very happy with how it went. And I think now compared to last year, I'm a whole different driver.
How so?
Just experience-wise, I was a little young and excited when I started in IndyCar. Of course, I'm excited and young still, but to a certain degree. I think it will be not a problem to come back to Texas.
Not a lot of drivers that are trying to break into the IndyCar series have the opportunity to stay at one team, especially in their first couple of years as they kind of search around for a seat. But that's not the case with you. You and Ed Carpenter Racing, as I alluded to, are entering into their second season together. What does that do to your mindset as you're in the middle of this 2021 campaign?
Well, it's a pleasure to stay with Ed Carpenter Racing, of course. They're a great team, great people, and I feel like I'm in the right place. And yeah, it's very nice to have continuity also for the team, with Connor Daly staying my teammate for this year. So yeah, I think we'll only make the team better, and you get used to one way of working. So I think everyone gets the best out of each other this way.
When you look at your approach last season, how does it change in your second year?
Well, it's tough. You always want to get 100%. Like you want to do the best you ever can. and that's winning. But of course, you got to be realistic, and you don't have to focus too much on a finishing position. I think for me, most important is making sure that throughout the whole race weekend, we use all the time we have and get the best result possible out of the car and out of the team. So if that's first place or fifth place, whatever is the best we can do, and just the best we have in us, that's what we have to be happy with.
I've got to think, because coming up the ladder, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. And that's a pretty realistic approach when you get to the ultimate in the IndyCar series. But I've got to figure that you maybe have had a couple of nights wrestling with that fact and saying, all right, Renus, let me get this down. This is a totally different ball of wax, and just be patient.
Yeah, of course. You cannot expect to win every time or go for the win every time, because it's just so super talented here. Every race weekend you go in with a different, just clean mindset, and just you're gonna see what happens and see what the pace is like. So it's actually pretty nice to not have big pressure on yourself.
We talked about what's looming directly in front of you, but let's face it, the IndyCar series is all about, it's named after it, the Indianapolis 500 and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's not too far down the road. Had an opportunity to go out there and test, although it was a bit abbreviated. Tell me what you learned, and tell me, just looking forward, how excited you may be.
Yeah, so I think many of you have seen the crash I had there. Very early in the run, in my first run. So that's very unfortunate, but still I learned a lot. Of course, it was very windy, green track, first car out. I should have, taken it a little easier and built it up some better. You're not gonna do your best lap time in lap 5. So test days are about testing, not about lap time. So definitely a big lesson for me. And I think even with the information and like the feeling of the car building up to speed there and what went wrong, I know what not to feel and what not to do now. So for the Indy 500 in the month of May coming up, I feel very, very excited. And I think we can, get this out of the way and just go for, hopefully, a glass of milk.
It was a freak injury to your finger. It didn't come from anything other than, as I understand it, getting jammed into the paddle for the paddle shifter.
Yes. Yeah, it just, I tried to just save it all the way and kept the hands on the wheel. And then just a big hit on the wall, broke my finger, but I don't feel anything when I'm driving. So lucky with that.
Talk about your driving for a minute. Psychologically, inside the race car, unlike maybe the lesser disciplines, you have an obligation not only to take what you're seeing on the racetrack, but be able to listen to and follow whatever the strategy that's coming from your timing and scoring box. Can you explain to me what that mix is like?
It's a little weird, actually. Always when we try something with strategy, it always works. Or like 9 out of 10 times it works. I think I'm quite an aggressive driver in a race. So every opportunity I see to pass a car, I will take that and obviously go for it. I think that way you make up a lot of time. And when I'm on my own, I just get in the zone and get some really good lap times in and make up time with the guys that are on different strategies. So I don't know. I think my driving style really suits the calls from the team and gives them a little bit more opportunity and a little bit more space to go for a good strategy.
Well, as aggressive as you are, and as much as you like to drop that right pedal all the way to the floor, what's it like when all of a sudden, and we've seen it, it becomes a fuel saving strategy. It becomes a situation where, and I've heard it for years, they give you a mile per gallon and you've got to hit that mark. That means you've got to pull up on the reins and slow just a little bit. How tough is that for someone that just wants to go WFO all the time?
That's tough. But the team definitely gives the call for a reason, because they see an opportunity there to be better than the rest or gain more time. So of course there are going to be races where we have to go for big fuel save strategy, but you got to adapt and still take the most advantage possible.
So it sounds to me like that's the thing that you've embraced in year 2. I've got to adapt. I'm continuing to learn. And the best thing that I can do is be a sponge and soak it all up.
Yeah, well, you got the guys with all the info and the timing stand. I'm just on track. I can just see my steering wheel and just some road in front of me. So I will do whatever they ask me to.
You're very fortunate, and there aren't a lot that enjoy what you have. And that's the fact that your car owner, Ed Carpenter, still twists the wheel now and again on the ovals. When you sit down and talk to Ed, how comfortable are you? Do you talk to him as a fellow driver? Or do you talk to him as your car owner?
It's a mix. Of course, it's still the team boss, but we go over, what did you feel on track? Just like teammates. And yeah, to be honest, Ed can be a little bit scary as a teammate.
How so?
just him being super competitive and and just always wanting to be the best driver he can be.
And then you have Connor Daly. Action with a guy like Connor.
Yeah, Connor's a great guy. Always a good atmosphere in the team, and when he comes in, there's always something to laugh about. Now his mullet, of course, but no, it's a great guy. Really good teammate. We definitely learn a lot from each other. He's a competitive driver too. He really wants to go fast, and if we can combine both our specialties, we definitely learn a lot, and I think we can help the team that way, both being fast. So very nice guy, very good driver, and pleasure to have him as a teammate.
Has he pulled a prank on you yet?
Not yet, but well, I'm gonna be in the RV lot at the Indy 500, so I will be surprised, I think.
Listen, can you share with me something that most people that just watch you from the grandstands or just watch you on television do not know about Renus Veekay?
Well, Veekay is not my last name. It's actually Van Kalmthout. So
wow, I'm glad you go by VK. I couldn't handle that one.
That's why we changed it. So even like when I have to check into a hotel, I have to spell my whole full name, and it's terrible. But it's funny that the US adopted me as VK, and I love racing and nothing else. Yeah.
Well, listen, when you get into victory lane, make sure that whoever interviews you gets your name right. Right?
Yeah, well, we just stay with VK.
No. You would blow Marty Snyder or one of the pit road people that are interviewing you if you correct them and say, no, I'm going to let you in on a secret. This is my real name. Because I guarantee you, as a former pit reporter, I'll tell you, they will not be able to pronounce your last name.
I will try. I will find a moment and I will try, of course.
There you go. Best wishes, and we do appreciate you taking a little time to visit with us today. Go get them, my friend.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being on here.
I love Matt Kaulig as the team owner. He's such a positive person, fun to be around. Chris Rice, which is the team president and competition director, the same feel, and it just kind of trickles down through the team. It's just a good energy.
The thoughts of A.J. Allmendinger on why he came out of retirement to drive full-time for NASCAR's Xfinity team, Kaulig Racing. We will talk with that team president, Chris Rice, next.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Embrace the speed of the NTT IndyCar Series.
Power wins at Indianapolis.
On Sirius XM, Indy 500 winner Tony Kanaan and Jack Arute get you closer to the track every Wednesday at 7 Eastern on Brick by Brick, on IndyCar Nation Channel 205, NBC Sports Radio Channel 211, and on the Sirius XM app. Free for most subscribers.
My next guest saw his passion for racing grow from his time as a track brat watching his dad field cars and his mom, Cathy, serve as South Boston Speedway's general manager. He took that passion and climbed the racing ladder to his present role as president and general manager of Kaulig Racing's Xfinity operation that fields cars for this past weekend's winner, Jeff Burton, Justin Haley, and AJ Allmendinger. Chris Rice joins me now. All right, Rice, I want you to listen to a little secret that your mom shared with us when she was here inside the wind tunnel.
I think one of the things that probably a lot of people don't know is they used to call him in school, they would call him PJ, Precious Jelly. And that's what it stood for. And he was, he was large for his age. And then, of course, he's a health freak now. He runs and works out and all that. But they would call him that. And he actually, at the Halifax County Fair, he actually done the womanless interview. And they would dress up. He had on his little skimpy bathing suit and everything. And, of course, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he either won or come in second place. But you can always say, I bet you if you called him PJ, he would know exactly where you were coming from. And he's going to say, where did you hear that?
Okay, Rice, what have you got to say about your mom's comments?
She said it nicely. I was fat, so my belly would jiggle a little bit. So they called me Precious Jelly. But, it's a lot of things I could talk about her that is pretty cool. She drove a bus. She drove a school bus for the school, Halifax County School. And, she was always this very safe driver and, but she was kind of like, she was the mom that you didn't want to cross. And one day, I guess I crossed her. And the next thing I know, the school bus is off the side of the road. We're going down through the ditch. We're wrecking. So from then on, I think she quit driving the school bus and we were done. I was done sitting behind her. Plus I was done, even talking about how well she drove the bus.
Well, let's talk seriously about the way you came into the sport, because like so many, including me, you started at a very young age and you were given a set of values and appreciation that then evolved into a real strong passionate that to this day you still exhibit. How important was it to be, for the lack of a better term, a track brat?
It was huge. I mean, I've learned so much in every race team I've ever been at, everything I ever did. Back when I was 14, 15 years old, I rode in what was a bread truck. Like, it was literally a bread truck with Jeff Burton and my mom and dad to all the Xfinity races. Now it's called Busch Racing then. And just learned everything I could learn. Back then, you didn't know that's what you were doing, but that's what I did. I learned everything I could learn. And my dad was, he really pushed hard to be a crew chief in the Xfinity side. And he could have been there, but then he decided to do his own business. And I felt like that, he put us first in his life, and he didn't go and be a crew chief. So when I was able to become a crew chief, Bill Davis gave me my first start really to be able to be a crew chief. And when I was able to do it, I just felt like it was something I could give back to my dad. I could give back to my family, because my dad did put us first. He did say that I want to be at home with my family, my sons, my wife, and it was huge. But just everything I've done, every place I've ever been, I've learned something. It hadn't been all good, but it has been something. And to date, at Kaulig Racing, I use every one of those mistakes, the things I've learned, the positivity I've learned, and I've came a long ways in just my ability to be able to how to handle stuff. Our golden rule here is we don't talk about racing until Monday. We don't talk about it on Saturday night. We don't talk about it on Sunday. We talk about it on Monday. We take what it has given us, and then we try to make it better on Monday. And I've learned that from the hard way, talking about it right after a race, being a punk or being whatever it is, because I'm pretty amped up at the racetrack. I mean, I know this, like, that's just my passion. It's a passion. NASCAR has paid my bills for so many years. It's just a passion. And I know sometimes it's not the best time to talk about it.
After so many years as a crew chief, you enter the brand new team that started in a go-kart building, Kaulig Racing. How'd that come about?
Matt Kaulig is a great person, first off, but Blake Cook had drove for Matt Kaulig in a fluke, really. JJ Yaley was driving the 32 car and ended up getting an opportunity to run full time with BK Racing, the Dr. Pepper car. So they asked Blake, hey, man, we got this new sponsor. We want you to drive it at Charlotte. And so he jumped in the car. It was Matt's deal, and he met Matt. And Blake Cook is a great guy that he can sell. He's a great guy. And then he runs some Xfinity cars. And Blake had drove for us at RAB Racing, Robbie Benton Racing. And we sat on the outside pole at Homestead. And I'm just an honest guy when it comes to, anything. And him and I became friends. And he says, I got the perfect guy if you want to start your race team. We met at a Longhorn. We talked about it. It wasn't his forte. Come about into October. Hey, I want to go do this. And it's just been great. Now, Matt, Kaulig, and myself are best friends. We talk every day. I think we talked for 45 minutes today already. And we'll talk again tonight. So we talk every day. He's not down here. I'm kind of run it. He lets me run it like it's mine. And I've been very fortunate to have somebody like Matt Kaulig and the people in Ohio to support us the way they do.
Well, to a race fan, a lot of them have heard the old adage that your boss loves trophies. But in reality, as an outside observer, it strikes me that Kaulig Racing is in a very controlled plan and controlling the growth. Now we're seeing, off and on, you fielding a cup car, but still it's all about winning the championship in the Xfinity Series. Is that something collaboratively that you and Matt came up with? And do you have to maybe rein in some folks that want to make the jump to cup?
Well, yeah, Matt and I have talked about it, and I've been just totally honest with Matt. I've seen so many people come in NASCAR. I've seen so many people make it in the sport, and I've seen people not make it in the sport. And the ones that don't make it is they try to go too fast. And I was like, Matt, we can jump into this, head first and go cup racing, but we're gonna be out of business. So we put a plan together for a long time, and we have decided that's the way we need to do it. Now, has it been opportunities that we could do other things and go cup race and do that? Absolutely. But what we're trying to do is do it the way that we know that we can control it. And that is having a plan. We have a plan. We know what we want to do. We know why we're running 3 cars in the Xfinity Series this year. We know why we're running 9 cup races. I mean, it's a plan. It's nothing. And we don't get away from it. We just don't go, oh, we're going to go here just because. Now, COVID hit last year, and we ran AJ Allmendinger a little more than we had planned on in 2020, but that was just because COVID hit. That was something totally different. But we both talk about it. I spend a lot of time with Matt. I was at his house last week, and we talk about it a lot. So we definitely have a plan. And Matt's a super businessman. Like he's taught me so much about business that it's amazing. And we're kind of run it like a business, but we also want trophies, like you see in the background. We want trophies, and that's why we come up with the slogan "Trophy Hunt."
Yeah, you alluded to your philosophy about let's not talk about racing immediately. Let's devote, Saturday night to getting our heads together, and then Sunday, and then we'll go back to work on Monday. Again, and it's not unique to Cup, Xfinity, or even weekly racing, other than in the weekly series, everybody gets together and chips in and kind of talks bench racing while they're working on the race car. How important is creating an atmosphere that just says we're all family there at Kaulig Racing?
Well, it's huge. I was talking to Jeb Burton this morning. He said it's somewhere totally different than he's ever been in his life. He's never been anywhere that's like this. And, what you do is everything that you do from, how you go to work, who runs the shop, you create it as a family, that everybody's part of every single race car that we have. Because at the end of the day, Matt Kaulig owns every race car. He owns everything we do here. He turns the lights on. He does all of that. Now, we need sponsors to make that happen. We need great drivers to make that happen. But if you do that and you stick to it, and especially myself and Matt, we show the same amount of love to each and every car, it feeds throughout the shop. And we got some great people. We have very little turnover. So that helps a bunch. And the new people that we get, these people are like, hey, dude, you're gonna work on everything, or you're gonna do everything. And everybody says, well, the bigger you get, you can't do that. I don't believe that. I still believe that we can do it that way. Even when we go to Cup, I still believe we can do that way. We don't have to do what people have been doing in NASCAR for the last 50 years. We can change it, and I feel we can succeed.
When do you think you will go to Cup full time?
Well, our plan is to go in 2022, but we got to have a charter. We've been working really hard on getting a charter. I think that's very key. But if we don't, we still can go out and run some races and do what we need to do. It is what it is. If you get a charter, you get one. If you don't, man, it ain't much you can do about it. It's kind of like going to the grocery store when they were out of toilet paper. It was nothing you could do about it. You know what I mean? So we're working hard on trying to get some charters, and if we get them, we'll go Cup racing full time. If we don't, we'll probably run a couple races, see if we can make the opens like we have this year. Going to Talladega this weekend. We end up at Coda in a couple weekends with AJ. So Kaz at Talladega. So we do have a plan to go in 2022, but we got to have a charter.
You mentioned AJ Allmendinger and the relationship that you and Matt Kaulig have created with him. I'll share with you the fact that I worked with him side by side on Brick by Brick, which concentrates on IndyCar racing, last year in its entirety. Let me share with you a little bit about AJ. He's volatile. He is not afraid to just say what's on his mind. And you already know that, Chris, because we've had numerous instances where you've had to play Dr. Phil as he's barking back at you on the timing and scoring stand.
Yes, he will, and that's fine, because all he wants to do is win, right? Like all he wants to do is win, and we want to win as much as he does. But sometimes you just have to go, AJ, it's nothing you can do about it right now. Just hang out. We will explain everything that happens to you. One of the finest moments when AJ really realized that, hey, we're in this together, is we were trying to do some, road course racing. He had run at Daytona, and we got disqualified for an engine deal. And then we would go to Watkins Glen, and we had rounds back out. We got disqualified for that. And then we head to Mid-Ohio, and he wasn't that good. Our cars were not where they needed to be. And I go up in the lounge before the race, and I go, hey, dude, let me talk to you. I shut the door, and I said, you just got to listen. He sat there and listened. We had a great conversation, and he knew that he's in this family with us. It's not him against us against him. And when he realized that, light switch flipped. We go on to win the Roval. We're going to win a couple races last year, and we've already won a race this year. So it's just a light switch. Dude is all in for Kaulig racing. Loves me, loves my family, loves Matt, loves his family. And that's what's so key, is he believes in what we're doing, and we believe in him.
Well, and beyond that, I think he shares the passion for the sport that you have, that I have, that is really the key to being successful. All right, PJ, we appreciate your visiting with us here on the Wind Tunnel, and wish you the very, very best as you pursue that Xfinity title this season. That's a big trophy to put in the trophy case.
That's a big trophy. We gotta get after it. So we didn't run that good at Phoenix in the spring, so we got a lot of work to do, but excited to be on this show. Cause like I said, I've been a fan all my life, and just thank you for what you do for NASCAR. Thank all the fans that listen to this, but also remember to make somebody smile today. That's the main thing.
I appreciate you not adding to your admiration the fact that you listened and watched me as you grew up.
Well, I was 2 the first time I heard you. So, yeah.
Take care, my friend.
Thank you. Have a good day.
We'll be back with more right after this.
With Advance Auto Parts, you can get the part you need from the comfort of your garage. We have a wide variety of parts in stock, and you can get them fast. Order online with Advance Same Day and get your part with same-day pickup in-store, same-day curbside, or same-day delivery. It's the fastest way to get the part you need, where you need it, when you need it. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Hey race fans, Brian Blaney here. I wouldn't be a NASCAR Cup driver if it weren't for all I learned and the support I received while racing at the local grassroots level. Advance Auto Parts has partnered with NASCAR in an effort to support hometown racetracks and plant their flag in local racing communities. They're starting a program called the Advance My Track Challenge, where they're awarding one local track $50,000 to help their efforts in advancing their track and fan experience. Get out there and vote for your local racetrack. The next generation of drivers will be happy that you did.
So we come to the end of yet another episode. Make sure you follow us on our social media sites and check out our new YouTube channel. It's Jackaroots Wind Tunnel. You know, your input is very important to me, and I'd love to hear from you. It's pretty easy. Just email me at jackarootswindtunnel@gmail.com. I ask you to share our download address for Wind Tunnel and pass it on to your friends. Many thanks to my guests, Chris Rice of NASCAR, IndyCar's Renus Veekay, and Erica Thiering from NASCAR's Root. To you, I also extend my thanks, and I say look out for each other. Enjoy your week, and come back for our next episode of Wind Tunnel.
Today's trip to the Wind Tunnel was brought to you by
Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR.